So welcome to our first broadcast of 2016. This is Psycho Moms. I was going to do this on YouTube, and for some reason my encoder software was just not cooperating tonight. So to keep things simple, here I am over here on Ustream, and we'll get this figured out, I promise. But for now, we're just going to move right on along. We are going to play with some of this paper from, this is the Love Story Collection from Blue Fern Studios. Totally gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I'm also, let's see, there's that. So pretty. And here's the B side of that. It's just a nice stripe. And I've also pulled out some paper because I've been practicing my handwriting, and I was going to do my title and then share with you guys this little pen that I got. This is actually, it's in Japanese, so don't ask me anything about how to say it. Oh, it does have it right here. This is a Pentel Feud brush pen in medium. So as always, I will do a follow-up post that has links to all of the supplies that were used tonight and where you can purchase them. I got this pen off of Amazon, and the super cool thing about it is it's a really long brush tip, but once it dries, it does dry permanent. So I'm super happy about that. So you don't have to worry about your mediums ever splashing or any of that. So I'm going to kind of give you some tips tonight. That's going to be my big thing for tonight's class, is tips on how to use these brush pens. So there's my title, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So I have this little guy right here pulled out to the side. Then I just have some little pieces and parts in here pulled out. These we're going to use the chipboard pieces. I have them pulled out as well. They came from this pack from Blue Fern Studios. These are called the Doodle Flowers, and they are gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So those are going to be the main focus of tonight's class. Then, of course, there's me and my mama. And we'll put that to the side for now. And then I've pulled out just a little piece of lace out of my scrap pile. And then this is a book page, and it's from Chateau of Flowers. And then I have my very loved Flourish stencil from Tim Holtz. And then Blue Fern Studios, this is the stamp. This is Essential Textures. Gorgeous. And then these are pieces, I've already cut them up from this paper collection. So what I typically do is whenever I am making a layout, and I had shared with you, I guess before Christmas, a layout that I had made with these papers. What I did was I usually store them with the paper collection so that I have them all together, and I don't, keep everything all together. So these have already been kind of fussy cut out, but I always keep the branding strips on these pretty papers like this because, look, you could like totally take this piece right here and trim that out and use it to tuck in because it has this super gorgeous motif. Look at that. It's so gorgeous. So you can also use this B side right here, the back side, to also tuck in and layer. So always keep these little branding strips too. And then of course this is the cut apart card page where some of these pieces came from, I believe. So I pulled those out to go with this as well. This layout, like I said, is going to be super simple. I just wanted a lighthearted kind of thing to do. I'm basing tonight's layout on a sketch that is part of the January challenge from Blue Fern Studios, and I want to just kind of touch on the fact that I am not affiliated with Blue Fern Studios in any way. I'm not part of their design team or their education team. I just really fell in love with their papers just before Christmas. It was the first time I'd ever used them, and absolutely, totally fell in love. Oh, I've got to allow links. Hold on just a minute, Anne-Marie. Let me do that really fast. Hang on. Allow URLs are now on. You can go ahead and add that. if you want to drop that link in again. The link got censored if you want to drop that in there again. So we're going to base tonight's sketch, or tonight's class on this sketch. And again, just to keep it simple, I really wanted to chat more on I really wanted to spend more time really focusing on the CHA releases and kind of chatting, so I wanted to keep it a little bit simple tonight. So that's kind of where I'm headed with this, and why we're going to do a sketch. And as I've done in the past, you know, I really enjoy doing sketches. It kind of helps to kickstart that mojo a little bit when you're feeling a little overwhelmed, or like you just really need a little something to kickstart the brain. You know, we got a new year, we just came out of Christmas, we got a lot going on, and sometimes it's really nice to just participate in some of these sketches and challenges and things like that, and you know, really getting it focused. Again, I will put links to everything on my channel tomorrow, on my, maybe not tomorrow, but the next day, over on my psychomoms.com page. So to get started, I have this beautiful sheet of paper, and this is called True Harmony. This is from the Love Story collection, True Harmony, and I picked this sheet because it has two little birds sitting in a cage. So when I go back into my little pieces and parts, I had pulled out these chipboard pieces from the collection, and then this is just a piece of scrap, and the sketch has one of the little cut apart, like one of these pieces on it, but I had already used the one, you know, the ones that I had did not really match a picture of me and my mom. So I decided to take a piece of scrap from the paper collection, and I have the word love that I'm going to use. And these are just a stamp that, just some, I think these are from Graphic 45. But these are just little letter stamps. Use whatever you have in your stash, or you can handwrite this or whatever. But I have a little tip I want to share with you guys. When you have these little alpha stamps like this, if you want, you could just totally line these up just like this. And then I take a piece of tape. You could use washi tape, you could use masking tape, whatever. I'm going to just use some paper tape here that I happen to have right here. If I can get it off the roll. And I'm just going to take them, get them lined up, just like that. And then I'm going to tape them together. Whoops. Make sure they stay a little straight. Now, then I'm going to take, and I got so flustered, I didn't even get my stamp ink out. I'm going to take my ink pad, which I have a black one up here somewhere. I'm going to do archival. I always use archival ink because I like to use wet mediums. So if I'm going to use ink, I like it to stay archival. And because my board here is a little bit warped, what I'm going to do is I am going to bring out my handy dandy little piece of board here. And then I always like to practice first. So I'm going to take and ink these up really well and get good even pressure. Make sure they're all colored up. And then I'm just going to practice on a piece of scratch paper first. Now you don't have to perform CPR on these to get a good coverage. And since these are typed letters, I don't even really care if they're perfectly straight. But look at how perfect that is. So I'm going to get that good. Now, they're probably not set on this perfectly straight, but they are perfectly even spaced because of the way they're lettered. But that's an easy way to do a word and keep it together from a wood block. I'm sorry. It is a slight delay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this little piece of scratch paper that I have here, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp out the word love. Kind of eyeball it, get it as centered as you can. Perfect. Isn't that great? And then I'm going to put this to the side because I might use it in a few minutes, and then I'll clean those off in just a few minutes. And then I've got my little handy dandy blending tool here, and I'm going to also pull out some of my distress ink, probably in Vintage Photo. And where I have cut this paper, I'm just going to take a little bit of this Vintage Photo and just kind of rough up around the edges just a bit. And that's just going to kind of help to kind of just hide those edges just a bit. So there's that. Now for my pinwheels, because I do like to do all of my wet mediums first, I am going to go ahead and color those up. I have some gesso here. And this is just some Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft gesso. And also have a little cosmetic sponge. And I'm just going to kind of tap that right on there. And just get it good and saturate it up. I'm thinking I want to keep these kind of somewhat neutral. And I might come back and just add a little sparkle to them, but I'm going to do it with a spray, I think. Just keep it kind of neutral because I really want my mom's photo, the photo of my mom and I, to pop, not so much these kind of things. I want these to kind of stay somewhat towards the background. But what I really want to do, I believe, is while these are a little wet, is I might come back and add just a hint, just so it stays on there, of maybe some of this embossing powder from, and I should have had it out already. This is that hologram embossing powder. Let me get a piece of paper so I can pour it back in its little tube. But since this gesso is wet, this is just going to add a hint of sparkle, like it's going to make these almost like a snowflake. And it's just going to offer just a hint of glitter. Nothing fancy, just a little bit of sparkle. Everybody needs a little bit of sparkle in their world. And I like adding that with a little bit of this embossing powder, because then it will stick and it is least likely to get everywhere. I say that now, but it's probably going to get a little bit everywhere. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and heat set that really fast. So I'm going to look at the chat while I do that. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Did it unfreeze for you guys? I love using the washi tape. It's great for those little tiny alphabet stamps. Do you know those ones that you used to get in the dollar bin that you would have to sit there and agonize over how straight you got it and getting the ruler out and measuring it out and everything? That's just such an easy way to add a little bit of or to get them to straighten up. Now, if you wanted the spacing between each letter to be a little tighter, then you wouldn't want to do it that way. But since I had such a large area to fill in, I decided to go ahead and do it that way. Oh, these are sparkly. I know it's hard to see. This glitter is actually made by, I think it's Granger. And it's clear embossing powder with a holographic glitter. Yes, it's made by Ranger. It's called holographic. And it has like a iridescent green, interferent green and pink glitter in it. Okay. And it's a very subtle. That's why I painted these chipboard pieces first, so that they would pick up that. I wanted them to stay kind of neutral, but have just a bit of sparkle. Okay, so there we go. Isn't it gorgeous? Okay, so we'll put those to the side. I always like, for those of you who are new, I like to do the wet stuff first because it helps to get everything to dry. Oh, we got one more wet thing to do. Since we have these little bird guys in here, I kind of had this thought. These are little clay pieces that I've done. I don't know if I'm going to do them all, but I'll just show you a quick way to color them up really fast, really super fast. I'm just going to take some vintage photo here, and I'm going to color the whole bird with a little bit of vintage photo. Now these birds, I pulled it out to show you. This is a Martha Stewart silicone mold. I've had it for quite a while, and these are the birds that are on the mold. And then all I'm using is, I put them into the mold with this air dry modeling clay, and I think I picked this up at Walmart. And the secret is, every time you use it, close it down airtight, really, really tight. Then pop them out of there, let them dry overnight, and they're usually doesn't take them long. They're very fragile until they're dry, but once they're dry, they're usually okay. And then I'm just going to take this vintage photo here and just color these little guys up. And it, like I said, they take the color really well. It usually doesn't take them very long. And I like to always do everything in white, because then I can color it whatever color I want. And most of all of these mediums that we're using these days, you can color over just about any surface. I broke his tail. We might not use him. But then he might sit inside some flowers. So you never throw him away, even though I broke his tail off, because I might perch him inside some flowers somewhere, and you'll never know his tail's missing. Want not, waste not, is that how it's said? Or waste not, want not, or I don't know. So be very careful. There's a lot of humidity in my room today, so this clay sometimes doesn't set all the way whenever it's so humid. And I'm trying to go fast since we got a late start. Anyway, you can really see how, up close, you can really see how it's really picked up all of the ridges in the clay pieces. So just brush really gently, because they're very fragile. Now, if you don't want to mess with the clay and you have the Prima birds, by all means use those. They have some tiny little birds too. You can really see the ridges. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus. You can really see the little ridges in the birds. Okay, so I want to get these birds to match. So, and the ones in here have a little red in their breast. So, I can go grab a red marker, and I have my little distress pens over here, so we'll just pull out one. Let's see here. This is Barn Door. I have Barn Door, and I have Festive Berries. Let's see which one looks better. And it's just their little breasts that are red, so I'm not going to do a whole lot with them. I just want them to match a tiny bit. So I'm just going to kind of come in here and put a little bit of this on here in their little breast area. And then before it has a chance to dry, just kind of rub it with that vintage photo to blend it in. And like I said, we're going to be sticking him right onto the layout. So there's going to be some other stuff around him. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time fussing with too much to make him too many details, because sometimes I feel like we can spend a little bit too much time on these little bitty details like this and get nothing done. But you can piddle as much as you want. Oops. And remember, distress is always reactive with water, but this is clay, so we want to be very careful. So you can always come back over here. I don't know if I have any water on my desk, but you can always come back. Oh, I do. Grab a little paintbrush. You can always come back with a little bit of water. You just have to be very careful. Very careful. I would say like a damp brush, but not a wet brush. Pick up a little bit of this, and you can always smooth it out that way too. And see how that will... I know it's probably hard to see because the camera's so far away, but be careful, because re-wetting this clay could be disastrous, because you got to wait for the clay to dry again. So you don't want to get it too wet. But by wetting this distress, you can get it into all those little nooks and crannies without having to really rub at it. And remember, the male birds are not nearly as colorful sometimes as the female birds. So if you keep some where they're not nearly as bright red as the others, then, you know, you'll be a little more, it'll keep it a little more interesting. So, there we go. So anyway, birdie lesson for the day. I've been really into birds lately. I'm really excited about those distress crayons, just like I was about the distress pens. And I think the reason I'm so excited about them is because it seems that they're just going to match everything. It's like adding another layer to the distress line. And Prima has just released new watercolor sets too. You know, they had the watercolor pencils last time, and I think they've added a palette now, a watercolor palette. So that's going to be fun. I did see that. And then I think Finnabar has released some acrylic paints, which is going to be cool. Those were some of the things that I saw. We Are Memory Keepers has knocked it out of the park this year with some of the tools. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but I've got to have that stapler. Have you guys seen the stapler that they released? Oh, is it the other way around? The females are less colorful. You're right. It's the males that are. I did say that backwards, didn't I? My brain is not feeling very well. It's the females that are less colorful because they have to sit on the nest with the babies. You're right. I said it backwards. I was seeing if you're paying attention. Okay, so here we go. I did say it backwards. Okay, so here are my little birdies. Aren't they cute? The stapler is amazing. Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to put these guys to the side and let them dry so we don't have to listen to that heat gun going off. And just so you know, I tea-dye a bunch of these little guys a lot. I do a lot of them at one time, so my tags typically are irregularly colored up. Okay, and in true fashion, I'm just going to kind of hit the sides of this with a little bit of Distress 2. And then I think I want to make sure when I put this down that I can see Chateau of Flowers across the top. I don't really care if I can see anything peekabooing out at the bottom, but I definitely want to make sure I can see this over here on the side, and I can see this up here at the top. And then I had this frame, which I thought was really cool, so I kind of want that peekabooing out too. But I can't decide if I want it peekabooing this way like, excuse me, this. I think I like that. What do you guys think? Like that? So, I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, I believe in the sketch, and I got to pull it back up for a reference. I believe in the sketch we have some staples going on and some paper clips. So, but I don't have anything to staple to that right there. So, let me see. I don't even know where my tiny attacher is. Oh, there he is. I found him. I think it's going to go like that, but I really want to use up as much of these scraps as I can, and I think I can kind of fake this into looking like it goes right here, like it's another sheet of paper. So, let's see. I'll put this down for right now, and I want this, I like this houndstooth here, so I think I'm just going to cut this like right in half and maybe come down about right in there like that. And see, you'd never know that that wasn't like a full sheet of paper. You would never know. So there's a good place for that staple. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do it kind of low, like maybe right in here. And here's another little secret. You'll never know if it's not going through all of it either. So let's just put it through right there. Okay. And I need some, let me get my ATG right now. Just going to kind of put a little bit of glue there and a little spot right there. And let's get this line back up again. So Teresa Collins did not have a booth this year. Did you guys notice that? She had a, she just kind of went around to everybody else's booth that she has stuff in. But apparently she has like a bunch of new punches coming out with Fiskars, which is super awesome. And then she has some new die cuts coming out with Craftwell, which again is super awesome. I think that's how I want to do it. I don't know. I'm not going to really care for that hole, so I think what I might do is just kind of tilt this, I think I want it kind of wonky, catty-wonky. Is that a word? Catty-wonky? Catawampus? Like that. There. Like that. Then, I'm just going to hit this right there so it stays. Well, poo. No, I want this darker side up. Like that. And then, oh, Faber-Castell. They put out some new, this is just going to give me fits. I might have to just pull out that wet glue up there. Faber-Castell has out some new texture mediums, which sounded pretty cool. I think one was called Charcoal. Can't wait to see those. I think tonight is just going to be my night to just experience technical difficulties with everything I touch. Let's just go to wet glue. And then There's a new stamp company out that is catering into the Bible journaling stamps. Those sounded pretty interesting too. I'll have to start pinning stuff as they start putting them out there. Okay, so I want that there, but I'm going to put that one up on a pop dot, I think. And I want this guy over here. I think I'm going to put this guy over like this. And maybe one of these. Maybe up there like that. Fill in that hole a little bit. I love these chipboard pieces. I absolutely love them. I love how they look like snowflakes. Just love them. Okay, yeah, I think I definitely want to put that up there on a pop dot like that. Alright, so before I get too deep into this, I think I want to put this, this paper has some of these like damasks in it, so I think I want to kind of map out where I want these to go. And there's a lot of negative space over here, so I definitely want to kind of build on that negative space here, and I'm just going to continue on with this. I'm just going to do it with gesso because I want this to stay somewhat flat, and I think I'm going to just do a little quick pounce with the gesso. No, I haven't taken off the branding strip yet. I'll get to it, I promise. But see how that just kind of softens up that area some? I don't even know if you can tell in video, but it just kind of gives it a little bit of a lightness. Just kind of softens it up. And then I may come back and add it a little bit to this top of this, yes, this little book page needs a little bit of this as well. Let's see. Y'all like my terrible accent? Today I went back to work. I've been off for 3 weeks. That was hard to do. I told everybody I was practicing being retired. They were laughing at me. I want to be retired, but unfortunately I cannot afford to retire. I have too many children in college. Ooh, I love it. It's softened up that book page so you don't really read that. Oh, and here's a tip for you. If you're going to use a book page, make sure when you read that little page and make sure there's nothing on it that you don't want to advertise. Just FYI. I've done that before. Okay, so let's go ahead. I probably should turn on my glue gun because I'm probably going to use it at some point. So let me get that going. Alright, while this kind of dries a little bit, let's work on our title. So, I'll put this over there for just a second. So I'm running out of room. Do you guys find that whenever you're crafting, you cover up every single thing? So this is a pen, and it dries completely permanent. And it's made by Pentel. It's called the Pentel Feud brush pen in medium, and this one's black, and it's a brush pen, and it takes some getting used to. I'm not gonna lie, I have practiced and practiced with this, and I'll be honest with you, I went ahead and did one that I absolutely love because the first time I did this, I wrote a whole page of it before I got where I wanted to go. Hi! Oh, I see bunches of people logging in. Yay! We were going to YouTube, and it didn't work out, so we ended up over here. So what I decided to do for my title was enjoy this moment. Since this was a picture I took with my mom over Christmas break, I decided to use that as my title. So it's really kind of hard with a brush tip pen like this because the pressure is what gives you that calligraphy look. So when you apply the pressure, you have to be very careful, and you have to have a very light touch because the more pressure you add, the deeper stroke will become. So to get these really hairline strokes like this, let me push it up. To get these really hairline strokes, the little thin strokes, you have to, really almost barely touch the paper. And it's also important how you hold the pen. And I found that if you hold the pen way down low, you end up adding too much pressure. So what I do is I hold it at a very comfortable, very loose, very, very loose. And I try to kind of very loosely hold it. And here's the beauty of it. This is not like formal calligraphy, so you can be as creative with your writing as you want. I give you permission. No one's going to come get you if your handwriting's not completely neat. But I say just very lightly touch. And then with your ease, you just want to kind of swoop out really deep. And on the downstroke, apply more pressure. See? And it helps if you practice in a lined pad of paper, and just go buy one of those cheap notebooks that you don't care if it bleeds through. You skip a page and go back, skip a page, go back. And then on the upstrokes, you're going to kind of pull your pen up and barely touch the paper. So again, I'm going to go enjoy. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to do a loop. And on that downstroke, I'm going to kind of put a little more pressure. And then come up, downstroke, heavy pressure. Upstroke, I'm barely touching the paper. Barely touch it, barely touch it. And then downstroke, upstroke, barely, barely touch, almost hold your breath, hold your breath, hold your breath. Come out, swing out, open for the O. Come down. Come back up. Leave the O a little open. Come out. Come down. Come up. Come down. Come up. Barely touch it, barely touch it. And then, now I can breathe. Whew! And that's literally how I do it. And then just do a little dot for the J. Now, I want you to pay attention. There's lots of squiggles. You see the lines? They're not perfect. It's okay. I was so upset. I was crying. I really, seriously was crying. I so was crying. I really seriously decided it just wasn't worth it. Okay, so I shake really bad because I have sensory problems. So sometimes my handwriting's not as neat as it should be. But you know what? I just decided this is a picture of me and my mommy. And it doesn't have to be perfect because my mommy will forgive me because she thinks everything I do is perfect. Right? So it doesn't matter. So I'm going to let it go. And what I'm trying to say here is don't be so hypercritical of yourself, because what I think isn't perfect, you guys are obviously from the chat saying it looks perfect. It's not easy to draw with one of these. It's not. But practice, practice, practice. So before I do this, enjoy this, I'm going to do moment, because I want this to kind of fill in the negative space between the two words. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to go do the loop. And again, I literally do this. My husband laughs his behind off at me because I go like this. I'll go, okay, loop. And he goes, what are you doing over there? I'm like, I can't write and talk. Okay, so I'll go down, up, 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 down, up, 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 down. And it's almost like saying the word down makes my hand go down at a thicker stroke. I don't know. know that sounds like the most ridiculous thing on the planet, but that's how I do it. It's like the choo-choo train when you're feeding your kid. Open, and you're sitting there opening your mouth like really wide, like that food's going to go into your mouth with that on that fork, right? Okay, so we're going to go down, up, 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 down. Now, here's the secret. When you get to the E, you want to go really wide out with the E, real wide. And then I kind of come about halfway down the middle of the back stroke and come out and go do my next letter. So in this case, it's the N. Then I come back wherever that spot was, and I pick up the stroke and come in. And then, you can always come in and do housekeeping if you want. I mean, it ain't the prettiest that I've ever done, but it works. Okay, and then now I have this big gap in here. So now I want this to be a little thinner stroke, so I'm going to pull my pen upright just a bit. You're on a plane instead of the train. You're going to say, open up the plane. Okay, so then we're going to come in with the T. This. Okay, now I'm going to let that go. It's not as perfect as I would like it to be, but I guarantee you, if you wrote it 3 or 4 times, it would look better. But I'm going to let it go because we're running out of time. Then I'm just going to come in. This is the perfect title for my layout, and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to kind of trim around it. Oh, one thing I did not tell you guys before we did this. Actually, let me do it. You need to hit this with a heat gun because this ink will smear until it's dry. So you want to make sure that this ink is really good and dry or it will smear. This layout's going to come together super fast, I promise. I don't have a whole lot to do with it. Okay, so, and then don't forget, you're going to go around your little dot of your eye, around your lowercase e. I don't know why I made that a lowercase e and not a big E. I did. I don't know. I like the curve, I think. And then I like to go around the little descenders too. It just makes it a little more interesting. And then around here, I'm going to kind of trim out in here. Just kind of make that a little thinner, a little more interesting. And now it looks like it was a die cut title of one of those fancy, trendy brushstroke titles that came in an ephemera pack that you paid $1 million for and you were hoarding for that perfect moment, and nobody knows that you hand drew it. How fun. I don't know if you can write really, really fast while that ink is wet. Maybe you could emboss it, but I wouldn't. I just think it's cool like it is. So, I mean, you know what? If you ask the what if question, then answer the what if question. Go play. I don't know. I mean, I'll try that. I'll experiment with it and let you know. Now, I have two versions of the same title, so it says enjoy this moment. So we'll see which one fits better. I'm not sure which one will fit better, but as we put it together, we'll play and see. So I want to put some foam adhesive on the back of this. So I'm going to pull some of that out. I'm not sure if it would stay. It might dry a little quicker than that. It just depends. Maybe if you did it one word at a time and heat emboss the words quickly, you know, maybe. Okay, so we want to put this, I think I want this to go about right. I need to pull the sketch up and take a look at it real quick. Maybe about right here. And I think I want to put one of these right here. And I'm just going to go ahead, I'm just going to put a little bit of this adhesive right in there. That'll hold it, I think. Maybe not. Might be too heavy. Okay, then we're going to take this guy. I forgot to put it in there. Pooh. This is just a piece of lace. Go through your laces and see what you have that's just a remnant piece and put it in there. I say right about there. I've done it. Hang on. I need to get it back where I had it when I did my little. There we go. Yes, 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 yes. I love it. Okay, so I got a fire stick, one of those Amazon Fire Sticks for Christmas from my kids for my bedroom, and I have watched every chick flick on the planet that I could get a hold of over Christmas break. Do you guys do that? I've been binge watching them. Even though I've watched them 1,000 times, it doesn't matter. I've been binge watching them. And then I think I want to take this little tag guy right here. I'm going to tuck him in right here. Oh, snap. Okay. I'm liking that. What do you think? It's so soft. Just love it. And then I think we're going to take a little bit of this hot glue and just kind of tuck it in right there. Notice I'm not... Oh, snap. No. That's got to come off. No worries. That's just an embellishment opportunity right there. Don't rub it too hard. Everybody know how a trick for getting that off? Watch this. Here's another tip for you. See this wax paper? Hit it with a heat gun. Get it good and hot. Take that wax paper. It'll lift it right off of there. It's got to be good and hot though. Hot, 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 hot. It melts to the wax. There it is. It's gone. Gone. Just like that. Boom. And you didn't burn your fingers and you did not mess up your page. I gotta heat that side up right there, but that one up there is gone. Gone. Okay. Next, I think I have this little piece right here. This is just a piece of cheesecloth in the stash. It's in the One Hit Wonder box. We're just going to fan it out a little bit. In the picture, it has a little bit of washi tapey looking stuff, but I don't have any. So I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm going to take this giant little medallion looking thing. I'm going to put it right here. Like that. It's going to kind of resemble a bird's nest before it's over. And then this guy is going to kind of come down in here. Enjoy this moment. And I think I might put this right there. And I'm going to come back with a staple right there. Yes, I'm loving this. Okay, so I have one more of these little guys, and I'm going to put this little guy right up here, like that. And I think I want this title up on a dimension as well. Am I out of frame? Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, so now it's time for the fun stuff. All of these little pieces and parts. All these. Let's start doing some housekeeping here and get rid of some of this stuff. Okay, so I have this is a Tim Holtz arrow. But before I put that on there, I have a key in here. And I'm going to take and I want this key to kind of look like it's hanging from the arrow. So, you know, like it's kind of hanging down. But I want it to have a bow. Actually, I want to do it this way. Whoops. I want it to hang this way. Right? So I'm going to put just a spot of glue right behind it. Now this spot of glue is going to sort of hold this arrow in place, but I'm going to put matte medium behind it because everyone knows that hot glue does not stick to metal. As soon as this metal changes temperature, this hot glue is going to come off. Okay, but it will hold it temporarily until I have a chance to do what I need to do. Okay, so I'm going to do that really fast, and then I'm going to put this, I want this to be lined up at a certain spot, and once I get it lined up, I'm going to come back with some matte medium and glue that down, or glossy accents. Okay, but I want this to kind of look like it's hanging, so it's like it's a key. And I want to tie a little tiny little itty bitty bow right here at the base, just to give it a little more interest. This is like a jute twine in a wheat color. It's made by Maya Road. No. Wrong company. This one is from May Arts. I think Prima also sells some. Now, once you get that where you want it, put a little spot of glue in that knot and it'll hold forever. Forever, forever. And then I'm just going to trim off those tails. I like them to hang a little bit. But same thing with this. I'm just going to take just a touch of glossy accents and pop it behind that arrow and behind this key. And maybe do a, I've lost my little poker. Oh, there it is. There we go. Alright, so I want to pull that key down kind of tight. There we go. And then I'm going to put just a spot of glue there. And some back behind there. And that's going to really hold that in place. That heavy metal is going to not go anywhere when I put it in my album. Okay, now here's the fun stuff. Filling in with some flowers. Okay, so in the sketch there's a paper clip, and I found these in a dollar bin, and it's Valentine's Day. You can find them anywhere. These are little hearts. I think I found them at Target, actually. These are little heart paper clips. Aren't they cute? So I'll stick that one there. And then I have these little teeny tiny flowers. These came from Prima. These are little teeny tiny tube flowers. And they have some of that glittery stuff on them, which is why I decided to put the glitter on those as well. So we'll put, I think I want to put a couple like right in there. I have them in all different sizes here. I want to take my bigger one, maybe, and put it between these two. I want one over here. Maybe one up here. One. There we go. That's how I want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to pop just a bit of glue right there. Notice I'm not covering up my chipboard. I'm just kind of layering it on there. And I'm keeping things in a trickled down, kind of a trickled down, so it leads your eye straight down to my title. Then over here, we're going to continue down. Put another one up here. I want places for my little birds to sit, but I'm also looking strategically at some of these transitional areas that seem to be a little bit awkward. Like where here I covered where this corner meets this, and it just didn't seem to be natural. And I have several of these little tiny pieces, as that hair is stuck to my fingernail. And I'm going to just kind of come down and add, you know, keep adding them, because again, I like the trickle down, but in this case, I think I might want to add one like right in there. I do like these tiny ones. They have that glitter, so they kind of pull in the glitter from the medallions that I added. And I might want to just add one small one, maybe right in here. I think that word True Harmony kind of competes a little bit with what's going on my title. So I'm going to just cover it up. And then I have these, if you've crafted for any length of time, do you remember, there's a little button. If you've crafted for any length of time, do you remember Skittles? That's what we used to call them, I think. These are just these, and they're not candy. These are just those little tiny, these are just those little teeny tiny glass kind of looking pieces of what were they? This is a wood veneer star. And we'll just place it right there. Just like that. These are those little, they're like, I want to put them on with the glossy accents. They're like those, they're like little pieces of glass. I don't know how to explain it. But I have thousands of these things in my stash, and that was way too much glossy accents. But I'm going to stick it in there anyway, because I'm probably going to splatter some glitter everywhere. I'm going to just put a dab while I have it up of this inside of each one of these little flowers. And then I'm going to come back and drop one of these little Skittles down inside of there, and then maybe put a couple where they just sit independent. Aren't they pretty? They're kind of like a little, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a little flat back, but they're clear, and they add just that little bit of sparkle. It's a little subtle thing. And I'm a firm believer in use what's in your stash. Firm believer of that. So for everything new I use, which for me the paper collection's new because I bought it just before Christmas. So for everything new that I use, I try to use something old. And that helps me to pull back on my stash a little bit and get rid of some things. Oops. We're almost done. Did I put glue there? Or did it just dry? There we go. Lots of planner stuff. I think Webster's Pages had a lot of planner stuff out. Marion had a lot of planner stuff. Heidi had a planner thing, I think. I'm not into the planner thing. I use my phone for my planner because it syncs to my Google account, so I can pretty much get to it anywhere in the world. I'm not a planner person. That's just me. Then I want some of these to just kind of sit off on their own. And then I kind of like the simplicity of this layout without a lot of junk in it. I think sometimes we get a little overboard with the whole mixed media thing. I'm going to put one more here and then maybe one up here by itself. It might need a little texture for me, so at the end I might come back and add a little bit. But I do think I want to add a few sparkles. I mean, a few splats here and there. So I have some gesso, and I keep these little, this is like a little blister pack that I just keep on my desk, and I have some gesso here. Now, let me tell you something. You can water this down with water for sure. No problem. But gesso, whenever you water it down with water, it gets so thin, but the pigment separates. You're supposed to water acrylic paint and gesso down with a liquid acrylic, so the pigment doesn't separate. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but anyway, so I have some that's kind of liquefied over here in a jar, spray bottle. Now before I put my picture down, I do want to cover up my title because I spent all that time doing that. I definitely don't want to get anything on that. I'm going to do a few little splatters. Using a fan brush, I'm going to just hit it with a couple of these little splatters. Okay, so pretty. And then I think we need to do a little bit of stamping, just to add a touch of texture. So I have this little stamp here, and I think I'm going to just use this little one right here. I like it. And I have that stamp pad that's out already. So again, before I add my picture, just going to add a little bit of just touches of some little things here and there. Nothing fancy, just a little touch of something. Just adds a little texture. There's one thing. And then maybe, I miss doing layouts. You know, I got away from it for a while, but I really love them. I think it really helps to tell that memory keeping story. I really do. I love them. And I have them all over my wall in my hallway. I have a big sign that says family, and I just put them up and down the hallway. Okay, so now it's time to add our little birds. They're kind of dry. I think I can get them in there. And I want to nestle them. See, like I think he would be cute. Let's see. Maybe sit him right here. Oh, his little wing's broken. So maybe have him maybe right here. Right here. Right there. Oh yes. See, I told you he could find a home. And again, just like we did with the other pieces, I don't think I would put him down. I would stick him down with some glossy accents because I just don't think they're going to stick with hot glue. Love it. There he is. And then this little guy, maybe we can have him, I don't want to overdo it for sure, but I like him there. So we're going to stick him there. His tail hangs down into that area right there really nicely. And then like him there. Now we need to put the picture down, and I may need to add, notice when I glued to the centers of all of these elements so that I did not cover up. Look at that. Look at how gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. You like? And I don't like this negative space here, so what I might do is come back with one of these pieces because I can always continue to build out. So let's do this. Let's take this little guy right here. Let's add a little bit of this on here. Oh, you know what I could do is I can make this my journal spot. I could totally do that. I could do it like this. That's what I'll do. Let's do it with this pen. Okay, so now I have my journal spot, and if I'm careful with how I put my glue down, I can do this. I can glue it tonight. Is just going to be those nights. Everything wants to be a turkey. Okay, glossy accents. There we go. Somebody's wanting to work. Okay. Like that. And then yay! So what you guys think? So let's do some drippage. And then I'm going to call this one done, I think. Let's take some Lindy Stamp Gang. I have some of this, what color do we want? I want to keep it kind of light, I think. I have the Chateau Rose. Oh, that's Blazing Sun. Let's do some of that. It'll get some shine in there. Let's do that first. Let's take this and cover up right there. This Glossy Accents isn't quite dry yet. Might be all I do. It's just this color. So I really like it. It's subtle. This is that Blazing Sun from Lindy Stamp Gang. And it's a really nice gold, so it gives it a really nice vintagey look without a lot of color. I like it a lot. Oh, Mommy, I got some on your face. What you guys think? So shiny. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and toughing through my technical difficulties. I'm gonna keep trying at it until I get it right. You might see some things go live and on YouTube, and if you do hang out, we might do some spontaneous little YouTube till I get the hang of it. They're so cute, aren't they? They're so little. And they look like they go because of this little guy. And you're right, I did get it wrong. The females are the ones that are boring. Just the males that are totally... That's why the males are in the cage over here. Mama and I put all the guys in the cage, and we went out on the town. And my pen's not completely waterproof. It is wicking out just a bit. It's not terrible, but it is wicking just a bit from that Lindy stamp gang. Woo, look at that shine. It's shimmering and shining. Yeah, they're not too overpowering. See? They're tiny. It's just a little subtlety. Very small amount. You can tell my mom and I look alike. Look at that. Oh, my yard is full of cardinals. I have one, I call him Tom. He's always looking in my window. He's like a peeping Tom. Always looking in my window. And yapping up a storm. Again, this paper collection is from Blue Fern Studios, and the chipboard's from Blue Fern Studios, and this layout is based on their January sketch, so go check that out over on their blog. And I will link up all of the products and all of the information to Blue Fern Studios sketch and everything over on my blog sometime in the next couple of days. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and toughing it out through my technical difficulty. I seriously wanted to cry. I was so upset. So for those of you who had trouble finding me, I'm sorry. I will try and get this up on Ustream. Thank you for those of you who persevered and found me here. I appreciate it. We still had a pretty good turnout. That's awesome. I may just leave it here. I love this layout. It's so pretty. It's so simple, clean, easy. Sometimes it's fun to just get back to the basics and just do a layout. And again, I love the fact that sometimes it's nice to follow a sketch when you're coming off of a lot of stressful holiday stuff and you just need to get mojo kicked into gear and get going. And it's nice to, follow along with the sketch. I want to know what your faves are for CHA, guys. I want to know because I'm going to start spending some money soon, so I need to know what to be teaching in 2016. So, again, don't forget to let me know what you guys want to see me teaching. Go leave me some feedback. I love feedback. I love for you guys to tell me, what you want me to see me working with, what paper collections, what product lines, what types of tutorials and everything you like seeing. Do we have any newbies here tonight? First times to the show? Thank you so much. Anne-Marie has been a blessing to me the last couple of weeks for sure, because she helped me kind of try and figure out how to get this thing working. Watercolors. Oh, can I do a little haul here? I'm going to stop the recording. I want to do a little haul and I want to show you guys. Speaking of CHA, now that CHA is over, I can show you guys some stuff. Hold on. I've got some new stamps. We only, for those of you who want to leave, go ahead. But I got some new stamps. Oh, you want to see? I am always here typically on the very first Monday of the month. This month I'm here. Gouache, I think is how you pronounce that. And yes, I will definitely be doing more of that because that's what I really want to be doing. I'll be honest with you. That's really it. That and layouts. I love layouts. But a haul. Yes, we're going to do a haul. So, focus. What was I saying? Y'all got me so sidetracked. I have the worst ADHD on the planet. I have lots of tutorials over on my YouTube with the watercolors too, so cards. Oh, that's what I was saying. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I broadcast usually on the first Monday of every month around 8:30. But this month, I want to start broadcasting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For now, I want to try and move over to YouTube, but I was experiencing a hard time with the way YouTube does things. So what I'm going to tell you is go to YouTube and open Ustream, and I'll be in one of the other venues. I will try. I'm going to keep trying. I feel like if at first you don't succeed, you must try again. So I'm going to continue to try throughout this month. I typically start at 8:30, but I want to start at 8 is what happens. So if you don't see me on YouTube, come try over here on Ustream. I'm doing my best to make this YouTube thing work. I'm going to investigate it and do everything in my power to make this work. The schedule is over on my blog on the right hand side. I have it all the way up through July. My schedule is going to get a little weird in the fall, so that's subject to change, but I want to try and do more of these, not just once a month, but it's going to depend. Another announcement real quick before I stop the recording and do the haul. On January the 29th, I am going to be doing a collaborative YouTube hop with the ultra famous Jen Gallagher. Like, I don't know if you guys know her or not, but she is, like, as far as I'm concerned, the queen of scrapbooking. So she was my one of my very first people that I followed that did 8 o'clock or even earlier. Really? Earlier? 7:30ish? I can't really go too much earlier because of the West Coast. They're already grumbling about 8:30, so but anyway, we'll fill it out. 8 o'clock. I could have been in here at 7. To be perfectly honest with you, tonight I could have been here at 7 if I could have gotten that stinking thing to work. But I was having trouble. I don't know what I was doing wrong. And you know what it could have been too? I was using something that was free, and sometimes when you use something free, they always want to complain. So I just have to figure it out. I'll get it figured out, I promise. I'm smarter than this. I can beat this. I've got this, right? Yeah, see, that's the problem, is it starts getting too early for everybody else. So 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what time I'm thinking. So if that works for everybody, that's what I want to try to shoot for, because then that gets us out of here by 9 p.m. my time. So I want to do that. Okay, so if that works for everybody, first Monday of the month, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you don't find me on YouTube, come look for me here. We'll be at one or the other. Okay, I am going to stop the recording now, and I'm going to do a little haul for you guys, because this is stuff that was just released at CHA. So I'm not sure I am allowed to broadcast it, but I have been told I can do sneak peeks to my friends. So I just don't feel comfortable putting it out on YouTube World yet. So hold on just a minute. I'm going to hit stop. Stop.